I'm going to give you 3 methods to help you start your life and build a foundation for your ideal future self. I want you to stay tuned to this video because at the end, I'm going to give you an actionable step to take to help you start your life in 2025. So I've maintained a year of sobriety. I've entered my 2nd year of sobriety, and I want to build a life that I don't ever have to go back to my old life in addiction, because what I want is more than a life lived in instant gratification and pleasures of the flesh. So the 3 methods to help you start your life in 2025 are as follows. The first one is setting goals. So before I get into the 3 methods to help you start your life in 2025, I want to tell you a little bit about the concept of self-control, because what this really comes down to when you're stuck in life and you're not moving forward, it's usually because you lack self-control. At least that's how it was for me. And the good thing about self-control is that we can modulate our self-control. We can either improve our self-control or we can weaken our self-control. Unlike intelligence, we aren't born with a set limit of self-control. It's something that we can improve on throughout our life. So that's good news, because that means if you're stuck in life, there is one thing that you can do to actively get out of being stuck, and that is to act in your best interest. And to do that is to practice self-control, self-regulating your actions and behavior to align with a specific goal or a vision. So we regulate our actions and our behaviors and our motives and our emotions in order to line up with achieving something in our life. So achieving a goal, in order to achieve that goal, we have to live up to a set of expectations, and we have to modulate or moderate our behavior in order to reach that goal. So that's self-regulation, and self-regulation is key to self-control. So we have to self-regulate our actions and our behaviors, and we have to control our actions and our impulses in order to achieve that goal, that long-term goal. So the first method to starting your life in 2025. So the first method to starting your life in 2025 is goal setting. Now, I know you've probably been told this many times before, but goal setting is important. There are 2 types of goals that you need to think about here. The first one is proximal goals. So goals in your immediate future, things that you can work towards right now and achieve within the next couple of days, the next day, or the next week. Then the second type of goal setting is distant goals or distal goals. So goals in the distance, so long-term goals. Now these goals can be longer than a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, whatever it is, it's a long-term goal. Now the best rate of success comes when we pair proximal goals with long-term goals. So we can't just focus on the short term, and we can't just focus on the long term. We have to focus on both. We have to have a vision that we work towards day to day. So the short term goals would be the day to day. The long term vision would be the distal goals, or the goals in the distance that keep drawing us forward. Now, the second method to starting your life in 2025 is self-monitoring, self-awareness, or self-regulation. So we have to start monitoring our behavior and our actions. Say we have an addiction say we have an addiction in our life, or something that's holding us back, a bad habit. We have to start documenting how engaged we are with that destructive habit or that negative behavior or that addiction. So every time we partake in this behavior activity, we have to write it down. We have to jot it down. We have to start documenting this so that we can self-monitor how bad we really are in our current state. And we also have to start jotting down our positive increments forward, our progression. So we have to monitor our progress, we have to monitor our behavior, and we have to monitor what's holding us back. We have to reference ourselves and then compare ourselves to an ideal person that we want to be. This can be someone in your life, or it could be a literary figure, it could be a celebrity, it could be someone you look up to, a mentor, it doesn't matter who, but you need someone as a reference in order to compare yourself to to who you want to be. So seeing the gap between where you are now and who you want to be in the future, you have to have some kind of reference in order to base your actions and self-regulate your behavior to get there. Now, the third method to starting your life in 2025 and getting unstuck is having purpose, having a why, having a long-term vision. And this is paramount, because if you're stuck in life, you probably don't have a purpose, you don't have a vision, you don't have a why to live any better than the life you're currently living. If you're stuck, you're probably gratifying your instant desires, you're instantly gratifying yourself, seeking pleasures of the flesh, you're content, you're happy, not necessarily happy, but you're comfortable. And being comfortable is dangerous, because if you're comfortable, then you have no impetus, you don't have the fire underneath you to push you to move, and you got to get outside of your comfort zone, because growth comes from challenging ourselves, from going outside of our comfort zone and meeting resistance, meeting challenge that pushes our limits to its capabilities, so that we can grow, so that when we reach 90% of our limitations, that 10% room lets us grow into the next 10%, into the next tier of development. So we need a purpose, we need a why. We need to understand why we're doing what we're doing and what we're going to get from it. So having a long-term vision, having that North Star vision, that purpose that draws us forward in life. Now that I've given you these 3 methods, I want to give you an action plan. So the action plan is this. I want you to start thinking about your ideal vision and your ideal future self, where you want to be in the distal future. And to do this, I think one of the best ways is to jot down your goals and your ideas and your thoughts, and to start planning your life as a creative writing exercise. I'm going to give you a writing prompt. So this is the writing prompt. It doesn't matter what the characters are, whatever. Just take this writing prompt, write it out, and then fill in the blanks. David peered into the distant tree line and began to think about his future. In general, he expected to ... fill in the blank. So you replace David with yourself, and you finish his imagining of his future. So David expected to what? David expected to get a career. David expected to get a degree. David expected to find a wife. David expected to own a house. David expected to buy a car. David expected to rear a family. David expected to develop friendships. David expected to, etc., etc. David expected to achieve status. Whatever it is, you want to have this vision and ideal future self, and you want to write it out. You want to start thinking about your future, because this will permeate into your unconscious self, and by having it permeate into your unconscious self, you'll start your unconscious mind will start nagging your conscious mind to get started on making that vision a reality. So I hope this video finds you well, and if you made it this far, give me a like and subscribe, and if you want to check out more, watch this video here.